This is Carson TV News, your capital city news source.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Carson TV News, your source for Nevada's capital city news. I'm Courtney Bloomer. The Nevada State Legislature is in session and considering a number of proposals that could impact the way local school districts operate. One such proposal is Senate Bill 178 that would change the school requirements for physical education. At issue is the fact that PE classes will be mandatory for students in grades K through 11. Under the proposed legislation, school districts would be required to assess and report student progress in PE. Carson City School Superintendent Richard Stokes took some time to explain how SB 178 could change students in the Carson City School District's requirements.
AB 178 is being proposed in the Nevada legislature this year and it's a bill that has to do with teaching PE in our schools. With SB 178, there are some new concepts that are associated with this bill, and it would alter some of the PE expectations in our schools to not only our students in middle and high school grades, but from grades K through 11. So it does actually increase the expectation of teaching PE in our schools. Language would include that at least 30 minutes per day or 75 minutes a week of vigorous activity be applied to our students. And so this would apply at the elementary level differently than what we currently have. Right now we offer about 45 minutes in Carson City schools for PE exposure. And in these 30 minutes per day and 75 minutes per week, recess doesn't get to be counted within those totals. So it actually has to be a dedicated class, which obviously represents a need for us, at least as we're currently organized, for additional staff members. Another aspect of this proposed language would be that students, especially at the middle school and high school level, could not have PE requirements waived. In the past, we've been able to substitute certain activities, including marching band, NJROTC, some of these other very active classes for some possibility of waiving PE credits. That will not be the case if this law goes into effect. And lastly, the districts of all of the school districts, if this bill goes through, would be required to submit an annual report to the Department of Education describing the course of study associated with PE in our different areas where we live. So that's SB 178, and it's a bill that will certainly have impact on students and teachers, and it's been my pleasure to let you know about these potential changes.
The Carson High School Culinary Arts team once again won the Nevada State Pro Start Culinary Arts Competition this past Saturday. This is Carson High's 11th consecutive state title. Carson High sent 2 teams to the state competition in Las Vegas. Each team consisted of 5 team members. They had an hour and only 2 burners to complete a 3-course meal for the judges. The menus were pre-planned, cost analyses were done, and recipes were created. The teams had to bring all the equipment and food to prepare the dishes. After months of practice, it came down to 1 hour to impress the judges. First time ever competing team of Kiera Bell, Katie Gutierrez, Sam Bachman, Tyler Legier, and Rebecca Mariner took 4th place. The state title was won by the team of Dakota Martinez, Christian Kiwi, Leslie Valenzuela, Mark DeMar, and Natalie Hatchenberger. The first place team will be representing Nevada at the National Invitational in April in California. Fundraising has started to help send these students to the competition. Donations can be sent to the Carson High Culinary Arts Program. After receiving word last week that the Western Nevada College could no longer financially support its men's baseball and women's softball programs, a community push is underway to raise enough money to save the teams. Helene Jesse Morris, former vice president of Western Nevada College, hopes a fundraising effort will provide enough money to keep the programs from reaching the chopping block and has invited the community to a public meeting on March 10th at 10 a.m. in room 2149 of the Legislature building. Jesse Morris was instrumental in getting sports at Western Nevada College. Chris Graham, who's been the voice of WNC baseball as an announcer and strong advocate of the program, is hopeful the community will pitch in and raise enough money to keep the programs alive.
The decision made to stop athletics after 2016 was definitely a hard one for President Chet Burton at the school. He, as he has said in articles that have been out since, had a very hard decision to make. And with the budget that he had to work with what the legislature is going to give him, he had to make that decision to save money for the school to keep the school afloat. Elaine Jessie Morris, who is a former vice president here at Western Nevada College, travels down every weekend from her house near Seattle. Every weekend she'll come down here for the home games and do the PA announcing, and so she still holds the athletics near and dear to her heart, and she is spearheading a fundraising effort to try and save it. And so on March 10th at 10 a.m. inside the legislative building, there will be a meeting for anyone who wants to attend. We're going to make history. I think this will put the community on the map as far as making history, stopping the WNC Athletics from the death penalty. I think we're going to be able to reverse it. It's going to be great.
Even parents of ball players on hand at Friday's games said it would be a shame for the programs to be cut.
My name's Mark Bennett. My son plays center field, and the problem with getting rid of this program, it's been a long and hard process, and they've done a great thing, and they get a lot of the kids from Oregon, and we just hate to see it go.
After much deliberation and consideration of alternatives, Western Nevada College said last week it made the decision to discontinue financial support for the programs effective after the 2016 season. College officials said the decision was not taken lightly, and given the success of the programs, ending them was a tough decision. Those interested in supporting the softball and baseball programs at Western Nevada College are encouraged to attend the meeting next Tuesday, March 10th. The Carson High School Senators were not in action this week, but Western Nevada College baseball and softball were on the diamond. Here's this week's sports recap from Keith.
The Wildcats didn't let all the talk of athletics being canceled at WNC bother them on the baseball field, starting off the week with a 15-6 win over Sierra College on Tuesday at John L. Harvey Field, then taking 3 out of 4 from College of Southern Idaho Thursday and Friday in a series that was moved to Carson City over weather concerns in Idaho. Thursday saw a split with WNC winning the first game 7-4 and dropping the second 4-8, and then taking both games in Friday's doubleheader by scores of 5-4 and 5-3. WNC softball team didn't fare quite as well, winning only the middle game of a 3-game series on Friday. College of Southern Idaho took the first and third games 10-2 and 20-10 in 5-inning Mercy Rule games, and the Wildcats took Game 2 9-8 in extra innings. A fourth game was scheduled to be played on Saturday, but the snow prevented that one from getting started.
The Miss America program provides young ladies across the country with opportunities to earn scholarship dollars. This week, youth reporter Kit spoke with Brianna Neben about the upcoming Miss Carson City pageant, a local preliminary program to Miss America that will be held on March 7th at the Carson City Community Center.
Thank you, Courtney. I'm here with Miss Brianna Neben, and she is a contestant of the Miss Carson City pageant. So, how did you find this pageant, and what inspired you to participate?
I did pageants when I was younger, and it was a similar setup to the Miss America organization, so I heard about it through then. And my preparations have involved a transformation in myself. I'm a completely different person from who I was 6 months ago. I was in a relationship that just did nothing for me as a person, and so now I've grown in my physical fitness, in my involvement in my community, and everything that the Miss America organization exemplifies.
And what would it mean to you to hold the title of Miss Carson City?
It would give me the credibility to make a difference in my community, which is what I stand for. It would also be a tangible evidence of the transformation that I've made in my life.
And is there anything that you want to say to anyone who's interested in participating to a similar program?
Pageants, especially at a young age, gave me the confidence to not only speak in front of people, but just presenting myself in general. I could notice a difference between me and my classmates growing up, and just the confidence level and how to present yourself, and when you walk into a room, you want to make sure that your presence is felt, and pageants can do that for you.
Thank you, Kit. In this week's Property Perspectives, real estate agent Garrett Lapierre talks to us about an online resource that can help buyers and sellers alike in today's real estate market.
Hi, I'm Garrett Lapierre, real estate agent with Century 21 Jim Wilson Realty, and you're watching the Property Perspectives segment here on Carson TV News. One of the most frequent questions I get out and about is Zillow accurate? Or does Zillow even know what they're talking about when it comes to the value of my home? And I want to talk specifically about home values in Carson City that are listed on Zillow. I'm sure everyone's familiar with Zillow and similar sites that are like that. What Zillow is famous for is giving a Zestimate, which is an estimate of the valuation of your home. In Carson City, they have 17,500 properties that they have given a Zestimate on. Now, there is a margin of error for that as well. And in Carson City specifically, the margin of error for Zillow is 8.4%, meaning that they're either plus or minus almost 8.5% on the price of your property. So while Zillow is not accurate to the dime, to the T, because what they don't do is take into account a lot of different unique features about your property. They basically look at price per square foot, what land is selling for per acre, and use an algorithm to put those two things together to come up with the valuation. But they don't take into account that you have a more upgraded kitchen or a more upgraded landscaping in the front or backyard. That's where you get the variation in what a home sells for to what Zillow says it's worth. So what Zillow is and what you should use it for is a great starting point to have an idea of what your property is worth, and then contact a real estate professional that can help you really analyze and look at the comparable sales in your neighborhood, just like an appraiser would, and come down and get a more accurate picture of the price of the property. So a quick recap, in Carson City, Zillow has an error margin of 8.4%. That could be the difference between you making money on your property or losing money on your property. That's why it's very important to contact a licensed professional and only use the Zillow's estimate as a starting point for the value of your home. Thank you. And as always, we welcome your comments, remarks, any topics you'd like to see covered. All you have to do is email us here at carsontvnews@gmail.com. Thank you for watching, and make it a great day.
Last Thursday, community leaders gathered with shovels in hand to break ground on the long-awaited Multipurpose Athletics Center. Located adjacent to the Boys and Girls Club, the center will feature basketball courts and an indoor track. Here's some footage of the event featuring our mayor, Robert Kroll.
But I'd just like to say, on behalf of the entire community of Carson City, we're making good on a commitment we made 20 years ago, 1996, when the open space initiative was passed through the foresight of a lot of people, a lot of voters. And this is a special day for our community. It's a big deal. Not only is it a big deal for all of our sports and tourism, but our local folks, and we're also taking care of our kids in this community. So this takes care of everyone, and it's just a great day for our community. So my hat's off to everyone who had a hand in making this, and I think we say the whole community. So thank you. All right. Is that it? All right. Sounds good. On your cue. On my cue? Yeah. All right. Eddie! You ready? Go. 1, 2, 3.
That's it for this week's edition of Carson TV News. Thanks for joining us. I'm Courtney Bloomer. We'll see you next week.